What's up, YouTube? Back at you with another video. Right now it's nighttime. I'm in my car. Make this quick video. As always, I always say I'm gonna make a quick video. But this video is definitely gonna be something that been on my mind these past couple weeks. I've been getting emails from my friends and whatnot, and some randoms, you know what I mean, people who've been watching the channel. And they was telling me that, telling me about these crazy stories about people getting fired. And moral of the story, I came to the conclusion that, first, I'm gonna just say a couple examples. One of the guys was telling me at one of his jobs, there was a girl that got comfortable with the manager to the point where she was coming into work. And she'll come into work, chill, cool, she's a hard working individual. She had back problems. So to cope with her back problems, she would smoke weed. Whatever. Moral of the story was, every time during lunch, after they was, she had her lunchtime, she'll come back from her break smelling like a whole pound. It got so bad that the supervisor had asked her, hey, what is this smell I'm smelling? And then the lady was like, oh, I don't know. And this is what they told me. She said, I don't know. And then she comes back to him like 5-10 minutes later and say, yeah, that's me. I was smoking weed, and I smoke it because I have back problems and whatnot. She was better off just saying nothing. I'm like, listening to the story, I'm like, dude, she could have said nothing because everything was speculation. Nobody knew anything. Then there was a story that happened. A guy was telling me that him and this other coworker, these two coworkers was working together, and it was a shift lead working with them that night. And I guess the shift lead and one of the coworkers got into it. So the shift lead had called the supervisor and wanted the supervisor to send the guy home. The supervisor pretty much was like, nah, I'm not sending nobody home at night. Y'all gonna have to figure that out. So I'm on the story. The guy got hot. The supervisor, the team lead got hot. He cussed out his subordinate. And he was basically letting him know, man, F you, F everything about you, F everything that's going on. And he pretty much got on the phone with the supervisor, cussed him out, and was letting him know, hey, man, I'm finna do this to him. Moral of the story, he got fired because he got too comfortable talking to the supervisor because he thought the supervisor was his friend. The supervisor had to report what was said over the phone because they was worried about retaliation towards the coworker. He gets fired. Another situation happened on the job where one of the guys was telling me about, there was a girl he was working with. She's been there for like 4 or 5 years at that moment. She was like a supervisor. Everybody looked to her for leadership. She knew how to do almost everything. And it's a small family-owned business. Somehow her and one of the family members of that business had got into it. And this owner's daughter, or the owner themselves, and they came off very disrespectful towards the owner and the daughter, to the point where they let her go. And I was like, dang, man, that's crazy. And they said, yeah, man, like the guy in the email, he was letting me know, like, man, she was like hardcore. She skipped lunch for them. She went hard for them. But moral story, I hear what you were saying, but I was like, man, that's disrespectful. You know what I mean? You can't tolerate any type of disrespect. It's funny, they can disrespect you, but you can't disrespect them because it's their shit ultimately. But basically, what I'm getting at is, the moral story of this video is, please, under no circumstance do you ever get familiar or comfortable with a supervisor. Because all you can take away from these stories is that every time people get comfortable with a supervisor, you end up revealing something about yourself or about another employee or coworker, how you feel about something, and ultimately you're putting yourself in a position where you can get fired because you're expressing yourself a little too much. Like the situation with the girl smoking weed. He can smell whatever he want to smell. If there's no evidence to prove that you're smoking weed, keep your mouth shut. Don't ever feel like, oh, I'm going to be honorable and I'm going to be cool and I'm going to just let them know, hey, I smoke weed, but hey, there's a medical reason. Doesn't matter. The place that she was working was a zero tolerance on drug policies. It had a zero tolerance drug policy. She should have just known that and kept her mouth closed. Same thing, the guy who threatened his coworker, his subordinate at work. Dude, nobody cares about how gangster you are on the job. And then on top of that, you're on the job, so that gangster shit goes out the window. Another thing is, why are you on the phone with your supervisor talking gangster shit? And to add more context to this video, the guy was telling me that he was a black, the team lead was a black guy talking on the phone with a supervisor who was a white gay male. And I was like, okay, I could kind of see what conversation this guy might have had. Now, this is a little sidebar because this could be a whole other video, but another thing to keep in mind too with comfortability, and this is why you should never get comfortable with supervisors. If you guys are different races and different cultures, there should no reason why you should be comfortable with a supervisor, because here's why. If you're a white if there's a white supervisor and you're a black person, there's already stereotypes that you and him or her or whoever are going off of. This is my opinion. You can take it or leave it. There's stereotypes that everybody's going off of. When you play into a stereotype, especially being a black man, there's a lot of negative connotation with us on jobs. Like, we're lazy, we're not hard workers, we're gonna call out, we're not gonna show up to work, we're gonna come up with any excuse to get out of work. What's another one? Like, we like to listen, you know what I mean? Oh, because we listen to rap music, we're into criminal activities, so we're more likely to steal on the job. We're more likely to do some unproductive stuff, play loud music while we at work, have the earbuds in, all types of negative stuff that you could think of when it comes down to the reason why people wouldn't want to hire a black person, let alone a black man on a job. They're going off those stereotypes, whether you want to admit it or not. And they can act like, oh, nah, we ain't on that. Man, whatever. It's present. When you get mad and angry and upset, you should literally go talk on the phone with your homeboys and people you're cool with if you need to cool off. I would never, ever go on a tangent, and if I'm upset and feel comfortable to talk to a white supervisor a certain way about certain things, because I know what that man might have said. He might have said, man, fuck that shit, nigga, this, that, and the third. I'm about to pop the trunk on this nigga. Like, talking like that to a white man does not make any fucking sense. You're putting yourself in a stupid situation because you're playing into a negative stereotype that he already had perceived in his mind that black people are. He might just be cool with you, thinking you might be the exception or you might not be on that. But then when you talk like that, he just gonna lump you in with everybody else. So I know I had said a lot of stuff in this video, but I just feel like there should always be a level of professionalism when it comes down to dealing and interacting with your supervisors. I don't care how cool they present themselves. I don't care. You keep your mouth shut. Learn how to conduct yourself. Yeah, you might have a friend that you might cut up with. You cut up with your friend, but even then, don't even cut up with them because they can go run back and tell the supervisor whatever. Just more of the story, we have to return back to professionalism, especially being a black man. If you're on a job and the people who are in the upper management don't look like you, conduct yourself a certain way, man. Just don't do it. And I know some of y'all gonna be like, I'm unapologetically black, man. I'm proud to be black. But look at what happened with Shakara Richardson when you play that type of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? The track runner. She was being unapologetically black, caught smoking weed, and it cost her a good year when she was running and breaking all of these records. Like, come on, man. Like, keeping it black and all that is cool in certain places, but not in the workplace, man. They're there to make money. Their bottom line is making money, and that black stuff, keeping it black and all of that shit, don't make money. I'm just being honest with you. If you want to do that, you need to go become a rapper, go become an actor, be a hood social media comedian, skit star. Do that shit. You don't go to a 9-to-5 job, a place of business, a service-based business, retail, warehouse, whatever, and thinking you just gonna be unapologetically black on the job and keep your job. You could call it cooning or whatever. It's whatever. It's very important you understand, like, you can't do that, man. Don't get comfortable with your supervisors. I would never, ever have certain conversations with my supervisors. Like, even if it comes down to gossiping with other supervisors. I've been in situations where my supervisors have come up to me talking bad about their assistant supervisor. And I'd be like, all right, cool. And I just sit there and listen. And they be like, oh no, I know you don't want to say anything. I'm like, I'm not gonna say anything, because at the end of the day, I already know where it goes. You're gonna say something, and if I agree with you or say something on top of it, two things can end up happening. One, you tell that person what I said, but we're gonna forget what you said that led up to me saying what I said. People always have a tendency to do that. No matter what, people just do it. Second thing you're gonna end up doing is, let's just say I said something about that's his supervisor, and then something pop off at work where he's like, or she's like, man, he disrespected me. He's not listening to my authority when I'm giving direction. And then that plays in, then you're going back to that conversation you had with me or whatever, and you're gonna be like, oh yeah, we're gonna write him up because I know what he felt about you because he told me this about you weeks ago or a month ago. Don't even play that game. I had situations where I was working at this job, and it was similar to like a family-owned business. It was a private-owned business. I was the only black male working there. So I was at work, and I understood to carry myself a certain way. And even then, it is what it is. So I come to work, I'm chilling, and my boss come up, the assistant supervisor come up to me. He was just talking to me, and he was like, yeah, man, when it comes down to this job, I feel like a slave. I feel like we're being used. This dude is using us, the owner of the company. He's like, man, he's using us. He's treating us like slaves, this, that, and the third. And I was like, slaves? I was like, using us. And then I just kind of peeped game. And he was like, what you think of that and all that? I was like, I don't think anything. I said, if you can't be used, you're useless. I said, I don't mind him using us because somebody going to use somebody at the end of the day. And I kind of moved that conversation along because I felt like he was trying to get a little, he trying to say the magic words that, a lot of black men and women fall for on the job or in general. Oh, slave, like those trigger or keywords that make you want to say, yeah, man, he's slaving me. Man, I'm already black. I ain't even trying to play into that. So I just looked at him and said, well, yeah, that's cool, but, if you can't be used, you're useless. Everybody get used, so I don't mind being used. I mean, at the end of the day, as long as I'm finding a way to get my end goal of getting where I gotta go, I'm cool. And I kept it like that. Again, you gotta prepare yourself. Then I've been in situations where somebody got fired and they got too comfortable. They hadn't said something that was too comfortable for the supervisor, and the supervisor was telling me literally in the office how, hey, it sucks because I was working with him for a while, started work together. He'd been around for like 3 years, and I really thought we developed something. But when you talk or come off a certain way, I have to protect myself and this company. So that's why we had to let him go. And I was like, okay, I understand this, that, and the third, because I was letting him know that he got into an argument with someone that led to him losing his job. What are we going to do to make sure that this person who didn't get in trouble, we don't want them to think that it's okay for them to keep starting arguments and thinking it's okay and thinking that you got their back and they're going to get, because if you're biased towards that individual, it's whatever. And that's all I was just trying to clear out with him, because I didn't care. But when he said, oh, no, it's cool, it's not like that. And he said, I want us to develop. I don't normally talk to my supervisor and have one-on-ones with him. He's like, how you see how comfortable you are talking to me and communicating with me? Make sure more often you come and communicate with me and make sure. I said, no, I don't want to do that. And I told him, unless it's a real issue or concern I have, I will come to you. But there's a way I'm going to make sure I come to you. And make sure I filter it out of my head. And he was like, nah, it's okay. Just talk to me. We know we're cool. It's a private and closed session. It stays with me. I said, no, I do not. Because if that statement, what you said was true, that person who came to you and said what they said would not have gotten fired off of what you reported to HR. So I said, at the end of the day, hate speech, I will never feel comfortable to say hate speech or anything like that around you. And when I come to you, I'm going to make sure I rehearse what I'm about to say, because at the end of the day, there still need to be a level of professionalism in the way I need to carry myself. And I got to understand that the wrong phrase of words, the wrong uses of words, the wrong sentence structure can be my job, or it could be a potential problem in the future. But that's all I wanted to say. I know it's a lot I said in this video. It was just so much on my mind, because I just don't understand why people still to this day think Your supervisor's your friend. Nobody on your job is truly ever your friend. And I just don't understand how we can be so comfortable with someone to the point where we're allowing ourselves to basically lose our job because we're running our mouths and we're feeling too comfortable expressing a certain type of conversations and ideals and just exposing things about ourselves that we shouldn't even be exposing at work, that ultimately leads to our demise of us getting fired or rumors being spread about us at work. You know, it's confusing, man. I just don't understand, man. Anyway, it's your boy Junior, and I'm out. If you like more content like this, like, comment, share, subscribe. It's your boy, I'm out.